Hello, welcome to our late weekend live stream. And as you can see, we've got our guest, the lovely Rose Foreman, co-author of all of the tales from Talifar books that are going to come out at some point in the history of mankind. And yeah, we've had all sorts of technical shenanigans going on, so which I will not go into because it's boring to hear about people's technical shenanigans. I just have to take my word for it. Yeah, so it's always nice to have Rose over to talk about the story element that the illustrations I'm working on are going into, because we have an interesting creative dynamic where I'm kind of world building the boring infrastructure parts of the world, and then she's world building the interesting character and often coming up with her own creatures and stuff as well. And so we have to
Just one.
Is that you only came up with the people?
I only invented the spitters.
What about the various human variations?
Well, right, but that's still human.
Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, a really great tool for keeping us on the same page, or, well, at least forcing us to get onto the same page, oftentimes years later, is illustrations, because picture says 1,000 words. Hi, Damon. And let's see, is this guy's name?
Hey, Damon.
Was it? It's not Igor.
Ivan.
Ivan.
I think that's Ivan.
Oh, are you actually reading that Russian?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've forgotten most of the Cyrillic alphabet, but I think that's Ivan.
That sounds right.
So
Mordekaida and Dottie, hello. Yeah, so I'm just continuing where we left off, where I was making this particular monster, and we'll throw it in the scene in a little bit. Where I left off was saying, hey, I should probably start checking out some reference, because I'm getting down to some of these details that reference will make a good impact on. And one of the main inspirations for this guy was mantids, praying mantises. And one of my favorite insect photographers, whose name is Igor, that's probably why I was thinking, that's why I had Igor on the brain, takes these super beautiful, dramatic portraits of mantids and other insects.
he says that's right. It's Bulgarian, by the way. Excuse me,
Yes,
Ivan.
Bulgarian. Well, you were saying it's a Cyrillic alphabet. Yeah. And there's this guy, which I'm still trying to figure out which particular mantid it is, because I would like to get a better picture. This is obviously a scan from a magazine or a book. It's got this big white line going through it. But particularly what I was looking for was the way joints can work in creatures like this. Because it's such an interesting mix of soft tissue and then hard chitinous tissue. And they're, like, look at this area here.
Also, hello, old lady. I don't know the name of
Yeah.
Rose.
She is my co-author / mother. Okay, so look at this area here. You've got this folded tissue that can obviously...
The ball joint can fold into it.
Right. So it's weird because they don't have skeletons underneath. They have skeletons on the outside, but the skeletons have to get soft where they connect. And so that's what I'm trying to kind of wrap my head around when it comes to these guys.
Hello, Letha.
Yeah, we were last time I said we were going to come on Saturday, and it turned out that there were uh, cherry blossoms everywhere at the University of Washington.
And
We
we
wanted to,
had to see them.
yeah, we needed to check them out before they went away because weather report said it was going to rain soon, and the rain tends to knock all the cherry blossoms off the trees. So we decided to push the live stream till today, and then a bunch of technical stuff happened. So here we are late on a Sunday for us, probably a Monday for other people in other parts of the world.
Mordecai says that mantis is cute, unlike the dog that bit me today. Oh, I'm sorry you got bit.
You got bit by a non-cute dog?
That hurts.
Oh, that's the worst.
It's not the worst, but it hurts. I've been bit. When did you get bit?
Me?
Yeah.
I didn't say I'd been bit.
Oh, all right.
I mean, I have at some point, not badly. Oh, there's a nice shoulder rub going on there. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking for as I'm going through these, just things that spark little moments of understanding that I can apply to my sculpture.
I was waiting and waiting and waiting for you guys to start. Oh, I'm sorry, Letha. Good thing I don't have anything important to do. Right.
Well, I'm going to interrupt live streaming here for a minute.
Oh,
because
we're being
Grandma
interrupted.
needs to say happy birthday to Kaiden.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Kaiden.
Happy birthday, little one.
That's a niece.
Yeah.
She's going to have a
One
unicorn birthday party next week.
Oh, awesome.
With rainbow
Yeah.
frosting. Yep. So yeah, Josh and Mom are
This particular one,
I love his antennae.
yeah, it's
The
got,
other ones don't look like that.
got great antenna and really weird proportions, which is great. I need to organize these at some point. This guy's got a very similar head to what I drew.
Damon says, yay, unicorns.
Yeah, unicorns are pretty great, especially the one in Cabin in the Woods.
About the one with the back rib ones, Mordecai said, yes, yes, babe, back rib, just don't eat the kids this time. Now that, why does that make me think of the movie Alien?
Yeah, it's very
Something about the
alien-esque.
pose. Oh my goodness, now that I would not ever want to see in person.
Photoshop work on that one.
I love the orchid mantis.
Tough guy here.
And that just, you try to think, why doesn't all that break?
Yeah, there's stuff that just works at a certain scale that would not work if scaled up. But yeah, okay, so I think I have the general idea of where the
Softer
limbs
parts
come
meet
together, how
meet the skeleton.
they kind of fold up in interesting ways, so I'm just gonna diddle around with that for a bit. Try to fix some problems we got going on, some technical issues real quick. I stretched this too far when the resolution was not high enough. All right. So one of the things that I find very creepy about insects in general is all the little weird moving like arms
Projections.
that go around their mouths. It's just it seems so something about feeding yourself with tiny mouth fingers is super creepy. So I was trying to extend that even further by having, you know, it just has to pull stuff directly into its sac place here.
Yeah, we were calling it the maw on the chest.
Alright, so clay tubes works pretty great for almost everything.
Aletha says Pepper hears you, Rose, and is whining. Oh, poor little doggy. Ivan says, are we looking at aliens or Earth insects? Mordecai says, you don't need sci-fi for weird on this Earth, and that is so true.
So I've got a kind of an interesting form going on here where I've got human-like clavicles that then sink down into these kind of bottom lip things. Part of good physical horror is juxtapositions of things that are recognizable but then used in
But they're off.
yeah, they're off in some way. Actually, I think I might be jumping into a little more detail than I should be at this point. I still need to get the proportions where I want them for some of these kludgier parts. One thing I've grown more and more dissatisfied with over the years is scythe fingers and arms and legs. They've become such a cliche among scary monsters.
Well, scythes are scary. Sharp is scary.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they've been used in enough places that they're expected, and when a thing is expected, it's no longer it loses impact on a variety of levels. Um, so I was thinking of just messing with the shape of the scythe a little bit here. I've got it kind of more, I don't know, hammer shaped.
Fishtail shaped.
Yeah, something like that. Something just to break it away enough to make it a little unexpected. Might be dumb, but it's unexpected. Although, you look at so many of the shapes on
Anything would work.
Yeah, literally anything. There seems to be no rules when it comes to body shapes for bugs. Like these what are these little wibbly wobbly, like leafy bits popping off? It's great for camouflage, I'm sure. Yeah, so all that to say that I feel completely justified doing something weird and just letting it be weird for now. Like I've said previously, at some point I hope to be working with better creature artists than myself, and I think after some of them have a pass at my designs, they'll end up a lot cooler. Because everything I'm doing right now is kind of the beta. The pre-release stuff. Which, it'll be great for historians to go back through and see how things were before Tales from Talifar was better known than Disney.
Yvonne says, I see this creature as a combination of a moth, praying mantis, and some alien insect.
Now, I wonder, moth might be because of the.
You're going to have scales on the wings instead of having clear glassine, as I was thinking of, like with dragonflies and stuff.
No, I was trying to imply they're clear. You could see the things coming through.
But still, they're in.
Oh, you're talking
They're
about these.
overlapping scales rather
Okay.
than, you're clear with the veins running through it. This is scales covering whatever the vein structure is.
I don't know if I saw it that way or not. I have not drawn any veins, but yeah. Further, it's one of those things where you throw down some ideas, and then as you work the ideas further, you run into issues like that where it's like, well, I need to answer. Is this really what I want, or have I had a better idea in the time since then? So.
Oh, I think it's fine. The wing structure almost reminds me of, the Thunderbird, the designs by the Pacific Northwest Indian tribes as they drew crow and thunderbird.
Trying to think of what. Let's check that out. I'm always looking for opportunities to find other inputs. Let's see. So, Northwest Native Thunderbird. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
I love Northwest Indian art.
That too. Yeah, neato.
Yvonne says moth because of the wings.
Yeah, Mothman prophecies are pretty creepy looking guys.
I've never seen that.
It's like a urban legend slash, I don't know what it's considered.
Literary device.
Yeah. There's a pretty cool movie about it made. I believe it was premonitions that were coming to someone about a bridge that was going to collapse. And because they had the premonitions, they were able to do something about it. I can't remember now. I just remember it was interesting.
Okay.
Not as highly recommended as the Hunt for the Wilda People, but still good. So these guys' primary functions, this is a drone as opposed to the queens, and so these guys' main job is to go out, collect food that they bring back, and also to collect incubators, which would be any animals that are small enough that they can attach an egg to and then fly back home with it. Which, let me show you an illustration of what that looks like. This is an illustration for book 2. There we go. So, there. Yeah, so that's a spitter that's got one of the Dridian egg attached to her. Poor little creature. And the eggs grow the tendril blood vessels into the creatures to feed off of them. What is the word? Is it anesthetize, or does that mean to put to sleep? What
Oh, um,
what does it mean to
yeah,
immobilize?
it does put him to sleep.
Right, but that's not the same as no, I'm thinking it's not euthanize. It anesthetize.
Anesthetize.
Yes.
Yeah, euthanize means to kill.
Okay, that's the one I was worried I was saying on accident. Giving him a little bit of a human nasal cavity there, just because that's another one of those creepy things that, some insects just have coincidentally creepy human features, like those Japanese crabs that have samurai faces on their backs.
Oh.
And you wonder which came first. Was it the crabs with samurai faces, and so the samurai were inspired by the crabs to look like that, or did it turn out that the crabs that had designs that look like samurai heads end up not getting hunted to death, and so those are the ones that continued to breed? I think if I remember the story correctly, it's told by Carl Sagan in what was Carl Sagan's big show, Cosmos. Uh, they're considered somewhat sacred by the people, and so the people don't kill those crabs.
Oh,
They don't hunt them.
I never saw that episode.
Well, I mean, it was the early 80s, so you may have just forgotten. It's been a little
That's
while.
possible. I was also very busy in the 80s.
Yeah.
Mordecai just said immobilize. That's a good one, too.
Yes. We did. You didn't. When you were writing what happened to the character, the characters are not conscious. Okay,
Yeah.
because that would be true horror if you're immobilized and conscious.
We could change that.
Yeah. I don't know how horrific we want to get with it. We'd have some pretty serious PTSD. I mean, like that. Some people, like my wife, who are semi-immune to anesthetization.
Anesthesia.
There you go. Anesthesia, who can wake up during operations and their body is paralyzed, but they're conscious of what's going on. She's only partially done that part.
Dottie says it's time for her to visit her mom. So, yeah, Rose. So she says thank you for the stream, and she'll catch you on Wednesday.
All right. Bye, Dottie. Have fun. Say hi to your mom as usual. Pressing the wrong button. There we go. Okay, and actually, I probably want to get the wings shaped the way I want them before I get them into my illustration file. So this is tricky because we're trying to be scientifically plausible, and you've got a creature that's the size of a human who can fly, which...
Well, I'm assuming that it has not the accordion structure of a lung like some spiders do, nor the breathing through the spiracles as insects do here on Earth. I'm assuming they have actual working lungs, maybe even pass-through lungs, the way birds do.
Well, how does a pass-through lung work?
Well, the air comes in one end and goes out the other. Or rather
instead
than
of in and out.
You're right.
Okay. How, does the air? Where does the air escape out?
Well, maybe it's a U shape. What I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
I just I just know the term
It's just different. Uh,
because if this was an Earth insect grown up to man size, it would be collapsed on the ground breaking.
yeah, so we're not limited to Earth insect,
Physiology.
but we are limited by physics to a weight, a weight and material.
Well, maybe the carapace is made of buckyballs and is super light and strong.
Well, they're not strong. We've established that they're actually very fragile, which is
Well, compared to compared to inside bone, yes,
but they have to be strong enough to support themselves
yes.
and the ability to carry a bundle of
Mhm.
up to 40 pounds or something like that. Possibly bigger, but they're not going to be flying. They're going to be more like jumping with their legs and hovering as far as they can,
Yeah, yeah.
which should be a very interesting sight. I really like thinking about interesting locomotion for my creatures. I have the spirit of an animator, if not the skills of an animator. Because it turns out you have to be incredibly technically proficient to be a good computer animator. So that's another thing that at some point, besides having a better creature designer than me, I'll have an animator on my team, and I'll say, hey, I've got all these great ideas. Why don't you do that? And then they'll do it, and it'll be great. And they'll probably say, oh, but it would be cooler if we did this, or added this, or took that away. And I'll say, great. That's why I have you on my team. It's going to be great. So I'm imagining these. Man, that might be too skinny to the point where, like, what material could be that thin and support the weight of the rest of the body plus some additional weight and not just break every time it flaps, right?
There's forms of carbon that are incredibly strong, much stronger than steel. And of course,
could they be
much,
grown
much lighter than steel.
Could they be grown organically? How does that carbon come about?
Well, now memory's failing me.
It's kind of like
actually, they discovered buckyballs in soot. Nobody, carbon is so common and everybody knows how it works, and it's been, so nobody's done a whole lot of really recent research. So some scientists are super surprised.
Is this what you mean when you say buckyballs?
No, buckyballs is a structure of, okay, you've got your common hexagon for all your organic chemistry that goes on, and the buckyball puts together all these pentagons into a circular shape.
Okay.
And they can be used to deliver medication. They can be used to make novel materials and novel structures.
Novel t-shirts?
And novelty T-shirts. Have they been discovered in nature, or are they?
Yeah, well, the whole name is Buckminster fullerene, which is why they're called buckyballs.
Indeed.
It was named after Buckminster, who's a philosopher of note about science and other things.
Linda,
but
hello.
The scientists discovered them in soot, this novel form, and now, of course, they can make it, but they never made it before because they didn't know such a form existed.
Okay. So if we're positing an alien species that came from another planet, I guess the question is it ridiculous to think that they could have buckyball.
Buckminster fullerene in their carapaces.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. We can assume that carbon is carbon everywhere.
Yeah.
And it will make these light novel structures that are turning up in materials as almost all materials, science materials that are discovered and innovated and made manifest themselves first to the common man as in toys. That's how they're first made economically viable. They're used in toy things.
Okay.
And then people find out how to actually use them in useful things.
Yeah, the axle and wheel in the New World was only in toys.
Oh, that's,
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
Yeah. Only little rolling toys had wheels in the New World. They didn't use wheels for anything else.
Axle and wheels.
Yeah.
Okay, axle wheels.
What other kind of wheel is there? How do you have a wheel without an axle?
You can roll things on logs, and that's
technically
almost
a wheel?
a wheel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what other kind of wheels did they use?
Yeah, I guess so. It's the only way it's useful. You can have grinding wheels and stuff like that.
Grinding, yeah. Well, those would be on an axle as well. It's kind of an interesting form I got just by pushing these. I'm also wondering, so there's no insects that have more than 4 wings, are there? I can't think of any. But I'm wondering if you had...
it's not an insect anymore if it has more.
What is it?
Well, I'm trying to think. There's no winged
Are there any
centipedes.
bugs? Are there bugs that have more than 4 wings? Are there anything that have more than 4 wings in nature?
I keep popping up with all these numbers of legs of things, but
Right.
wings, no, I can't think right now. Does anybody out there know of some animal with 6 wings or 8?
Yeah, because I'm thinking if a creature could have these Buckminster whatever super carbon tubes, carbon wings. Why not have more? I mean, at some point you get so many that they don't have as much movement. So maybe that's the practical limitation.
I could imagine an alien that has, a set of wings up near the head, and then maybe in the rear portion has another set with enough distance between them that they wouldn't bang into each other.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no examples of that extant on Earth.
Alright, I think this is probably close enough to pose him to get him into our scene. Save him. And then I'm going to save a different version. It's called Posed Rough.
Oh, I changed the spelling to D-R-I-D-D-I-O-N. I got rid of the Y because in my sample set of people reading it out loud, they tripped over that word until I got rid of the Y and changed it to an I.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's another example of us needing to get on the same page because, at some point it ends up getting baked into art like this, and then it becomes a pain to have to change it. So,
Oh,
but it's fine. I can change it in that one thing.
I told you that years ago.
Well, sure. Did it make it into every single document? And the particular document I used to put this
Okay.
content in there? No. So we'll make a note of that. Actually, let me make a note of that right now because otherwise it will slip between the cracks. Let's see, Dridian. Dridion. Not Dridion. Okay.
Yeah, everybody stuttered on that word.
Yeah, well, that's great user feedback. Okay, posing. Let's see. So I want this guy to be menacing, Beaumark. Let's look at how he's in the scene currently. This just default pose. And so I want to pose him in such a way that the dynamics of the angle of the camera and the lens size and all this stuff will make it most
Dramatic.
yes. Uh-oh. Oh boy, I think my Daz Studio is on the monitor that no longer exists because my HDMI cord broke. Let's see, can I?
Oh, is that what was supposed to fit in that spot?
Run as administrator. Oh boy. Yeah, my second monitor died. I had to put in one of the big old-fashioned cables to bring it back. And now my computer thinks that it has 3 monitors instead of 2. This one doesn't actually exist. Is there a way to kill you and say you no longer exist? There's no right-click option. This is the segment of the stream that I like to call Watch Josh Do Boring Tech IT Work that anyone else could do 1,000 times faster.
Then some.
Oh, disconnect this display. Ta-da! Keep changes. Okay, there's my Daz Studio. I did it! Okay, and we're still on here. Okay, excellent. Let's open recent. Dridian attack spelled wrong. Everything spelled wrong now. Okay, so. Where's my ground? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so this is the camera. I named it JoshCam1. I don't like this particular composition right now, but I was trying to find a way to get Beaumark in the most dramatic pose, but also so that his bow and arrow isn't interrupted by the shadow of the Mulig behind him and that sort of stuff. But unfortunately, putting the camera in a place where he is free and clear of all that stuff, it just looks dumb. So he I don't know. It's just not a cool pose. Like the lower you get the camera, actually that might work. Let's see if I can find a place where he still looks cool. And you can see his bow and arrow. A lot of that will come down to lighting and that sort of thing as well. So that might work. There's still a lot of noisy stuff behind him, but I'm just gonna do that for now. So anyway, it feels like if the Dridian's up here, having it kind of arching over as though it's gonna leap over and get him is what we want. So let's see if we can.
I imagine his wings would be flatter, tilted to horizontal, so that because it's hovering.
Yeah. Let's do that first then.
Yvonne said, "Whoa," about something. I'm not sure what.
Whoa, Nelly. Trying to calm the Mulig down because it was freaking out. Okay, can I rotate rotate these simultaneously, yes.
Now, most insects, and again, he's insectile rather than an insect, when they fly, their legs are folded up.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, my mother does know a thing or two about physics. My mother is pretty brilliant. She knows a lot of things about a lot of things.
Or a little bit about a lot of things.
Yeah. Comes from a medical degree and writing a bunch of sci-fi for many years, I imagine.
When you say medical degree, they're going to think you mean physician rather than clinical lab technician.
Clinical lab technician. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Okay, I think I want his head to be tilted down a bit more to make him more menacing. Oh. Which means I'm going to need to tilt his jaw down a bit more as well. Just have it like so. He's got his roaring thing going on. Definitely do not want him to make the sound that every monster in every movie makes nowadays, which is although it does look like that is the sound he should be making, but that's because Hollywood has programmed you, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
To hear that sound when you see these shapes.
Maybe it should just make a
Yeah. Or it should be like that little desert frog that goes
I love that frog. Well, since insects on Earth don't have lungs, like spiders have their accordion lungs, but insects breathe through spiracles, meaning little tiny openings all along their skeleton that air just enters in, and the muscles can use that air rather than having it transported to them by their blood from lungs. And that's the primary determinant of size for them, because you reach a point where your spiracles have to be so big the body parts start falling out, you know?
Right. Yeah, I'm actually wondering if a silent monster is actually creepier at this point, or you're just hearing its body movement.
Well, you would certainly hear the wings flutter.
Yeah.
And insects make a lot of different noises.
But it's all by rubbing things
It's not
together.
through the mouth and vocal cords.
Yeah.
It's through drumming on parts of themselves, scraping parts of themselves. Like what crickets do, and cicadas and all that. That's called stridulation. As I don't remember what that instrument in the band is called that has ridges and you run a stick down it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever that is.
That's mostly what insects
That's
do.
probably what it's called. It's called a. Oh, by Ivan. Did you say that was-
Mordecai says meow like a kitten just to mess with people. Oh, have you seen that video of what they think dinosaurs sound like now? You know, how they think dinosaurs actually sounded like ducks. Quack, quack, quack.
I heard about it. I have not seen
Yeah,
it.
so they showed a Tyrannosaurus Rex running along after that car in, or that Jeep in
Jurassic
Park, and it's going quack, quack, quack.
Not nearly as scary. Huh?
Yeah, the new trailer to the new Jurassic Park would have him going quack, quack, after he bites
I mean,
down.
ducks can be pretty scary when they're coming at you, to be honest.
Yeah, geese, not ducks.
Oh, I've been scared by a duck before. Have you ever had them coming at you?
Just geese.
Okay. I mean, I guess anything
Now,
coming
I didn't
at
know
you
you'd ever been
chomping.
attacked by a duck. I remember when you were attacked by a rooster, and I ran in and kicked that rooster several times.
Right.
And he kept turning around and daring me, and so I'd kick him again until he quit daring me.
Is that one of your dad's roosters?
Yeah, it was one of my dad's roosters. I was really mad at him. I mean, you just wanted to say hi, and he scratched your face.
That's how I got chicken pox.
Um,
I'm gonna see if I can get his legs, or at least one leg, kind of tucked up insect-like. Let's see what that looks like.
oh, since he's more like a wasp, maybe we should look at some wasp pictures in flight, because it seems to me that the wasp have their front four tucked up, but the last two stringing out behind them.
Okay.
Beetles have all their legs tucked up.
Yeah. Let's see if I
But
have
wasps,
this in here.
I don't know if you have any wasp in flight.
It's wasps. I don't know if there's a worse insect out there than wasps. They seem so unnecessary and cruel for no good reason. Okay. I haven't.
Aletha said, "Good job protecting your kid, Rose. A long time ago, a gal told me a story about a goose attacking a 3-year-old, and what did she do? She jumped on a table and screamed. And left her poor kid." In flight. Well, look at that. Their front legs are out too.
This one looks like his front legs are up, back legs are down. I imagine it. Some of the shots they might be coming in for a landing, or they just took off from something.
Yeah.
'Cause this one, yeah, the front's all tucked up, and
Uh-huh.
and the back's tucked up and streamlined.
Huh.
Probably depends on the species too.
Look at that one carrying.
Yeah, it's got a daub of mud. But yeah, that's about the size of.
Yeah, but that's interesting how the leg hangs down and the it's not the abdomen or thorax. Yeah, abdomen is straight back.
Yeah, this one's got these legs are tucked up, these ones are carrying, and these ones are hanging back. So it looks like, as with most things, it can be whatever we want. But I mean, we're trying to evoke
Scary
stuff,
things that you might have seen.
Stuff that's in your subconscious to know that you want to stay away from.
Aletha says wasps are cruel, but they sure have cute faces. Modekaida says only thing wasps are good for is to see if your fly swatter works.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I mean,
well, no. Okay, I saw this in Alaska. I was at the kitchen counter washing dishes and looking out into the woods, and I saw all these wasps hovering around, and I looked closer, and they were nabbing all the mosquitoes that were trying to get into our cabin.
Oh, well, if they're killing mosquitoes,
yeah.
Okay, then I'm all for them being cruel bastards if they're if they're going after mosquitoes.
Aletha says, fly swatter. I use bug spray with a 20-foot range.
It's a good way to get poison all over your house. Unless you're outside, I guess.
Oh, hey, that's a pose I've seen before when somebody's getting ready to jump
Mm-hmm.
with the one leg up and one leg down and the arms in different positions. Where have I seen that?
It's a pretty standard comic booky
Oh, that's
archetype.
what superheroes do.
Yeah.
Mordecai says, you mean bear spray?
That you could use in Alaska for sure. And if you're ever trying to fight criminals over the ocean, make sure that you have shark spray as well. Yeah, that feels pretty dramatic, and I'm coming at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll save that, and we shall export it as an OBJ. Oh.
Mordecai, that pose is when you're sneaking into the kitchen to get the last slice of pizza. Oh, this morning I was looking for my pizza in the refrigerator and it wasn't there. The box was in the garbage, and I was thinking all these unkind thoughts about Shane having eaten my pizza that I was going to have for breakfast. And then I remembered that, no, I ate it last night.
Yeah, you did.
So I repented of all those bad thoughts I had about Shane.
I mean, they were probably warranted just for other crimes. Let's see, what am I doing? I want to insert. How do I bring in a thing? I've done it 20 times now. I guess I just import. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I probably charged him long enough we could take my stuff out.
Yep. And
Where did he go?
he's itty bitty.
Okay. I'm gonna let him charge till I leave and then take him out, so. You could throw him out or do whatever you want.
Parameters? Yes. Scale. Bigger, please.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what you were doing, and he's facing the wrong way.
Yep. Nope. Don't want to rotate them that way. Which is the... Oh, it's color-coded. Excellent. Okay. Rotate them on the green.
Oh, good.
Translate them. Oh, back this way. Hey, John.
We're doing live streaming.
So only get close enough if you want the camera seeing you.
Nope.
Alright. So that's got a pretty dramatic arc to it. I don't know if it's good or bad that it's matching the arc of the little
That's always
tint
good.
back there. Always? Maybe.
Well, you know, things that make a picture cohesive and make more sense in the brain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
since I don't have to work on my
The one thing I don't like is his bottom jaw.
Looks like it's touching the knee.
Touching the knee, so I might be able to adjust
Tilt
that.
him just a little more.
That's,
He's got a. Huh.
oh, there we go.
I was
Although now it
thinking
looks
this
like
way,
the arms
not,
coming out
not
of his
that way.
mouth.
Maybe he needs to have a shorter jaw.
Well, I could just change the pose in ZBrush so it's bent up more towards his face. That's,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's always easy to get caught up in like little fiddly things, and then you end up ruining the overall big picture because you're so focused on
Right,
it. So I
right.
need to mentally back up, breathe. Okay, now big picture. I can take care of the little stuff later. Big picture. Does this work? So we've got
Okay.
a big element here. Boom.
Yes.
We've got Beaumark in the foreground here.
Yes.
Uh, he's pretty small and not very prominent. So one thing that I could do to make this a more dramatic illustration is bring him more into the foreground. Um, that also helps separate him a bit from the background, which is good. And again, I'm trying not to get caught up in the fact that there's like this big shadow around his arm there, and you know that can probably be fixed. But does this work? So is it? So we also have to keep in mind we've got Scola sitting back here, which we don't have yet, but Scola will be sitting in here, cowering. Um, is it more effective to have the Drydian be, because right now it looks like the Drydian would be going after Scola, sitting around here, or is it more effective and scary if he's coming after Beaumark? So if we wanted him coming after Beaumark, it'd be rotated more like this.
Hmm.
We also experiment with tilting the camera down a little more.
What do you guys think? Oh, Aletha says I like the Drydian's pose, but I don't know. I wasn't looking, so I don't know which pose and when.
Yeah, I think she means in general. His posture is good. Now we're looking for composition. So I'm trying to think what's good about this composition. The things that I like about this is Beaumark is separated enough where it's clear, okay, here is a figure doing a clearly defined action. He's shooting. That's a big plus in any illustration. We have a nice clear shot of the platform that Scola is going to be on. That's great. So the movement of the Drydian, the arc of his back, is less pronounced in here. If the camera is more here, you get more of that movement of like coming over and at you.
Trying to think, you almost get a triangle dynamic effect
actually,
too.
this is pretty cool. I'm kind of liking this. Because yeah, we can still have Scola pretty prominent, pretty clear.
Aletha says coming after Beaumark.
Yeah.
And Aletha says just waiting on the chat lag.
Yeah, that's always obnoxious. Okay, so I'm going to move Beaumark a little closer here, because it could be coming at both. You know that he's looking down this way, looking right down the barrel of the air. You know, the bow and arrow has a barrel, right, Aletha? And
shaft.
Yes. Okay.
Nasser said, I wonder what this looks like for colorblind people. I think for grayscale, that's exactly what it looks like.
I'm not as big a fan of where the Mulig's head is here, but again, I can repose the Mulig to get the head in a good place. Yeah, I think I really like all this. Most of it. So there's tangents that are coming into play where his hook is coming at the thing right there. So it just creates weird negative space when that's happening. So I'm gonna see what happens if
you back them up just to make some space,
yeah,
and then up just a little higher. Yeah.
exactly. Also makes it more clear that this is a flying beastie. I'm gonna want to reposition the wings so they're a little more legible what's going on right now. They're like, this one looks pretty cool. I like that kind of very clear coming down, but this one is just a very strange shape. So yeah, and then again I want to reposition the jaw so it's not touching his knee. Still not super happy with Beaumark's pose. It's hard to tell, like, because he doesn't really have the actual clothes he's going to be wearing.
And he's not all ripply, muscly like he is.
No, I mean he's supposed to be more ripped than bulked, so he doesn't need to be all puffy. But,
okay.
Yeah, okay. I feel like this is a good point to put down a stake and say, okay, here's the general shape and proportion of the illustration, although it is going to be more vertically oriented, so I should...
Oh, yes, this creates a...
So that's a bit of a different dynamic, but yeah, it's still fine. And there'll be, you know, forest in the background and a path and probably some foreground elements and stuff to play with. But as far as the main actors in the scene, I think this is a good place from which to work.
I don't know if you need to show forest background and busy things up too much.
Yeah, I would definitely want it to be very blurred out and just kind of hazy shapes. Now we're getting a weird tangent where the tip of his arrow is hitting the Mulig's leg, so it's like, do we like tweak that around a little bit there to clarify that? Yeah, so, but it's still in general. I'm pretty happy with this, and so let me save this before I do anything dumb. Oh.
And diagonal, like that, is very good at implying action. It feels dynamic.
Yeah.
Rather than static like a horizontal configuration would be.
Yeah. So, what I'm thinking is, for the next stream, I'll hopefully have this in such a place that I can start. I can put it in Photoshop. I can make whatever little tweaks I need to make, and then maybe the stream after that, I'll show how I transfer that to my sketchbook and actually start doing the final illustration. That's what I hope. We'll see. I still have to, you know, I'm still trying to stay on getting Scola finished up. Have you seen his latest version
yet?
No,
I haven't. Show me what Scola looks like now.
Okay. I think this is going to be the latest one. Let's give him his hands. He does have hands. Yeah, just pretend that other hand is there. But yeah, he's getting close. I got to get the spines in there. But yeah, I think he's a really good mix of owl and bat and pufferfish and frog, all the cool creatures that I love and want to want to see in him, and that his personality reminds me of. So the owl is for wisdom, and the bat is for kind of nighttime stealthiness, and the toad frog is kind of that grumpy sort of, you know, get off my lawn old man sort of feeling. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with where he's ending up. It'll be fun to start posing him around. Like I know Nasir really likes the illustration of him with the ears straight up, and so I'll be playing around with that some. But yeah, we're getting there. I also was thinking you should have sphericals on sphericals. What are the sphincters that ooze the webbing out?
Right.
Yeah.
I think the word is spherical.
Yeah.
You want one
Should
on
have
his
them,
feet too?
Yeah, his feet should have them too. That way he's really fast at binding stuff up. Doesn't change anything in the
Yeah, I was
story.
trying to
Just
think.
makes sense.
I mean, spiders get by with one. Oh, spinneret.
Spinnerets. Okay. Yeah.
Nasser says, I hate bugs, especially if they were this big.
Yeah, I think most people would, which is why they're one of the scaries in the book. So, all right, yeah, that's a good place to call it for today. Thank you very much for joining us, and it's always a pleasure. So,
Good to see you guys.
yeah, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Talk to you later.